Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Martha Alter Hines, and I'm here with my very good friend, soul brother, Emmanuel Dagher. And we are here for our next Divine Lotus session. So if you're new to these, or even if you're not new to these, we have been feeling a calling to about once a month gather together with all of you, in a sense, to invoke what we both feel is this divine lotus energy. And the point of it really is that as we're coming out of the illusion of separation, we're coming out of the time of great forgetting, we are coming back into the remembering of who we really are. One way I would describe why this divine lotus energy feels so important for me is because this great remembering that we're doing is not really a cognitive remembering, although it is partly, but it's for me much more about an embodiment of remembering and wholeness itself. And the divine lotus energy is that. Like it is that on this epic level. So what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to help us all come into that divine lotus space, and we're going to let it just come alive for all of us, and we're going to kind of just go with the flow once that happens, once that's established. But I think we're going to have time where we and then you all can, just throw things into the lotus that you want to release, because this divine lotus energy is basically source just in another form, and it can take anything. Right? So there's that. And then Emmanuel has some really beautiful themes that I think you're wanting to speak to within that lotus energy context, and we'll see where the divine flow takes us. Does that all feel right?
Perfect. Yes. Yes.
Anything you want to say before I help us drop in?
No, that was beautiful. I think I'm already feeling that lotus energy rise up. So let's get going.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So, yeah, amazing. I just want to, I'm feeling really called to say huge gratitude for you, Emmanuel. And just, this energy is so powerful and good when we connect. And like I was telling you before we started recording, I'm just feeling you like this elevator of light, and my energy just going, so beautiful. So I just invite us all to, first of all, just adjust and just sort of bask in the glow of divine light, which I'm feeling here so powerfully, so strongly. Emmanuel and I both are on the southern coast of California, where I experience huge, powerful Lemurian light all the time. So I think that's part of what's going on here. But yeah, just feel yourself bathed in this powerful divine light, and the light of Gaia, the light of that Lemurian energy, if that's what you're feeling, or any other powerful healing light energy. And then feel and imagine as your whole body and beyond your body, your whole energy system starts to change into the form of a divine lotus. So really in this ultimate sense, you are the divine lotus. We each are, and we're also held in it. Gaia is a divine lotus frequency energy in one of her ways of being. And you can begin also to imagine, perhaps, like there is a temple that is this divine lotus energy, and inside the temple is perhaps some beautiful and extremely comfortable and comforting, maybe velvet pillows, very luxurious, so perfect for your body, your being. And you can feel that you are being invited to come inside of this divine lotus temple Maybe you feel called to sit. Maybe you feel called to lie down. But just feel how this Divine Lotus Temple is holding you completely. And you can let go all the way. And I invite you to feel this divine light, powerful, powerful, powerful divine light holding the Divine Lotus and filling the Divine Lotus. And you can feel the petals of the Divine Lotus. It's the petals themselves, how each and every one of the petals, maybe even the dew on the petals, is divine wisdom, is divine medicine, is divinity itself in motion. It's powerful, unconditional love. Feel the strength and the tenderness of these petals, of the fullness of the lotus. And just feel the shimmering light holding the whole Divine Lotus, holding you, and soothing and comforting every aspect of your physical body, your heart, your emotional body. And I invite you, even now, if you like, you could imagine, in concert with this Divine Lotus, you might feel, I'm feeling very strong golden angelic realm light. And if that is alive for you, you could imagine even that you can release anything and everything that you want to let go of into the light and the lotus itself. But you also could imagine, if you have any worries, any concerns, any insecurities, anything at all that you want to hand over, you can imagine two golden hands reaching down. These are angelic or maybe archangel golden hands reaching down to the Divine Lotus, to you. And you can place anything, literally anything at all into those golden hands. If you have a concern about somebody or something, let the golden hands, let the Divine Lotus just take it. And take your concerns, your worries, anything back to source. And you can just let it go. Emmanuel, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, so it feels like we're at a major turning point, and I think, Martha, you probably could speak better to this astrologically, but I think, this month really feels like a major turning point in a direction to higher awareness, higher expansion, and not just for us individually, but as a collective. So when I was tapping into what wanted to come through today, I was receiving something around our ancestors. And if you can just take a moment right now, before we do any healing, before we do any releasing and unplugging from some of the patterns that are no longer serving us associated with our ancestors, I want to invite you to actually send all of our ancestors, past, present, future, from the beginning of time, deep gratitude. So if you would just place your hand over your heart, feeling that lotus energy, feeling that beautiful foundation, that healing foundation that Martha created, co-created with all of us. and just express deep gratitude for all the things that they have experienced, all the collective agreements, all of the personal experiences, the joyful ones, the hard ones. Let's just express deep gratitude now. Let's take a deep breath in. And release. So let's ask our I Am presence, our source self, our lotus embodied, to create the space for us to heal and move beyond the inherited patterns, burdens, survival mechanisms, any of the struggles, the hardships, the pain, the limitations that may have been on a loop, not just in our ancestors' lives, but things that were passed down to us on some level. It could have been a subconscious, it could have been a conscious, it could have been a physical thing that we just decided to take on, whether we realized it or not. Let's ask our I Am presence, our lotus self, our source essence, to show us all of the lessons we were meant to learn from all of those burdens now, and make it so that we learn them, so we don't have to keep repeating and continuing those patterns, actually beginning a new legacy that is much more aligned with our highest timeline. If you want that, just affirm yes.
Yes.
Good, let's take a deep breath in. And release, and just imagine anything that is no longer serving you relating to our ancestral field is being placed with gratitude inside of this lotus, letting that light, that sacred lotus, transmute it back to the light. So we're not negating, we are not trying to get rid of anything, we are simply offering. We are offering these blessings to this lotus because our ancestors are a blessing, and they have so graciously paved the way for all of us so that we can be here right now at this time, this momentous time, not just in our own lives, but in the collective, where we are helping the planet shift into her higher and highest timeline, and all of us doing that with her. So let's take a deep breath in. And release. Now let's have your I Am presence bring to light, bring to the surface the most expanded source, Divine Lotus perspective of who and what your ancestors really represented, and make your perspective, your mind's perspective, your heart's perspective open and available to receiving these highest universal perspectives from that source frequency. If you want that, say yes.
Yes.
And if it feels good, just see from the highest skies that you can imagine this white golden light pouring down and supporting and activating and lighting up that lotus that's within you, all around you, in your vision, just magnifying the light, the potency of that lotus as each of these downloads come through. And with your sacred yes, just seeing that light pour in even more deeply. Because you are the 0 point field of infinite possibility. So although our ancestors have been through it, they existed, they may not even exist yet because we have people coming after us. Right now, you are the reference point. You are the light anchor. And as you are anchoring this light, it is now shifting and healing the timelines, not just for you, but for your ancestors. So if they did struggle, if they did go through hardship, if they had maybe forgotten who they were and they never really remembered in their lifetime, we are shifting that now. And it's so important. It sounds maybe sometimes trivial, but it's so important to do this kind of acknowledgement and self-reflection and healing work, especially during big transitional times like we're moving in right now, because of course it's so important to honor, love, see, recognize our ancestors for who they really are. But as we do that, then we do that for ourselves. And we elevate our frequency and we elevate our cells so that they start vibrating at the higher new earth, fifth dimensional, which is a consciousness, into this very real present moment. So if you would like to embrace this light, embrace this self that is in that highest timeline, just affirm yes right now.
Yes.
Can we download you with what that self, that divine self, your source essence feels like, looks like, tastes like, smells like, sounds like in this present moment? Would you like that?
Yes.
Again, so if you are fixated on parts of the world right now that are struggling, that are going through it, or you're kind of really focused on the news cycle, I want you to give yourself permission, first and foremost, to honor the part of you that's choosing that, because you just, it's part of that warrior energy that we all have, where we want to protect and we want to know and we want to be in that vigilant state. However, I also, once you move through that gratitude to that part of you, an acknowledgement, I'm going to invite you to place that vigilance, that hypervigilance, that warrior kind of combative, like, well, I can't be happy until everyone's happy energy. Let's place that in the lotus now, because your light is so needed right now. And when you are choosing to show up for yourself and love yourself in this way, you are opening the door for others to do the same. You are opening the path to compassion, where you no longer sympathize. This is what a lot of the teachers that were able to really shift and heal and help people heal, like Kuan Yin and Jesus and so many other amazing teachers, they were able to embody compassion, not sympathy. Sympathy lowers our vibration to take on and feel sorry for and see things as less than or broken. Compassion elevates us, helps us see the truth of what's happening, even if it looks challenging and difficult, even if the story or the reinforcement is trying to tell us that, there is no wholeness here. There is wholeness here. And if we can just cultivate and strengthen internally our ability to have and hold compassion for ourselves and others. So let's say, you see a picture of yourself and you don't love it, or someone said something and it triggered you. Holding compassion for yourself, even the parts of you that are triggered, even the parts of you that want to judge yourself, being able to have that compassion. Then from there, being able to do that for others and for the world as a whole will elevate it. So if it's for your highest and greatest good, can we ask your I am presence, your lotus self, your divine source frequency, to teach you how to be able to hold and anchor such a grand capacity of compassion for your body, for your mind, for your spirit, for your finances, for others, and for the world? If you want that, say yes.
Yes.
And can we download you in your body, in your mind, what this feels like to be able to do that?
Yes.
Good. Go ahead and relax. Take a deep breath in. And release. Just expressing deep gratitude to yourself. I'm expressing deep gratitude to you. I'm expressing deep gratitude for the light that is you. And just give yourself permission to do that for yourself, for your body, for your mind, for your spirit. All right, so now this is the big one. Can we have your I am presence learn all of the lessons you were meant to learn from all of the attachments, the hooks, the bonds, the connections, the vows, the obligations, the traditions, the contracts, the responsibilities, the guilt, the shame, the fear that your ancestors carried and that you might still be carrying, whether you realize it or not. Can we go ahead and show you all of the lessons so you don't have to keep repeating those timelines now? If you want that, say yes.
Yes.
Can we show you how to recognize yourself, your energy field, how to function, how to thrive, show your mind how much more it will gain and have and experience and grow as a result of learning all of these lessons from these attachments? If you want that, say yes.
Yes.
Good. And now can we have your I am presence fully help you unplug from all of the unhealthy, unproductive cords, attachments, hooks, bonds, connections, vows, obligations, oaths, contracts, etc., that are no longer serving your highest timeline? If you want that, say yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And can we extend this to your ancestors so that they too can have this freeing release if they want it? If you want that, say yes.
Yes.
Good. So we're going to land this healing now with one powerful, very simple process. And that process is basically going to be us recognizing that although we are all one, although we are all connected, although there is no separation, the experiences that your ancestors went through were their experiences. They don't have to be your experiences. They can, if there are things that are productive and healthy and feel strong and empowering and liberating and help you evolve. You are welcome, and we'll make sure we'll do a little healing around that you stay connected to that. However, all the rest is not yours to carry. It's not yours to carry. You can let it go. So can we have your I am presence show you how to let go of any guilt, any burdens or responsibilities associated with anything else that you're carrying for your ancestors, their experiences that are no longer relevant to you and your highest process? If you want that, say yes.
Yes.
Can we download you with what it physically feels like in your body, in your consciousness, in your mind, in the plasma all around you, in the auric field all around you, what it feels like to be free from living their life as yours? Can we clear that and show you how to feel what it feels like outside of it, if you would like that?
Yes.
Good. Take a deep breath in. And So, as a collective, in your mind's eye, I want you to bring to light a color, any color of the rainbow that represents your ancestors as a whole. It could be any color of the rainbow. It could be purple, it could be red, it could be pink, it could be brown, whatever color that you can sort of see as the collective. And we're going to place that inside of the lotus and allow the light of the lotus to softly shimmer, dance, and alchemize that light into the light of the lotus. And any imprints, energies, colors that are in your auric field, I want you to just take a moment to visualize if any of that light that was from your ancestors, that was that color that we saw, is in your field. We're going to honor it, we're going to thank it, and we're going to also place it inside of the lotus. And we're going to ask that any positive, healthy connections between you and your ancestors, any things that would help you feel more connected, more awakened to your true nature, more elevated to your highest potential, can we show you how to keep those connections with ease and grace without returning to the not so highly joyful and expansive connections? Would you like that?
Yes.
Can we show you in your mind that this is possible? Show you what will happen? Just expand your ability to notice, recognize, and see what life looks like now that you are beginning this new legacy on behalf of you. You are now the reference point. You are the 0 point of infinite possibility for you and for your ancestors. Would you like that?
Yes.
Repeat after me. I am.
I am.
The universe is.
The universe is.
Source is.
Source is.
Because I am.
Because I am.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Take a deep breath in. And release. And just gently coming back into your body, I'm going to invite you to go ahead and focus just for a moment beneath your feet. And then focus just for a moment at the top of your head, the crown. And then go ahead and focus beneath your feet. Feel that earth energy. And then go ahead and focus on top of your head. And then bring those two awarenesses into your heart, allowing them to braid themselves, allowing that light to fully be anchored. We are celebrating our ancestors. We love them. We are so grateful for them. But they are now celebrating you, cheering you on, thanking you for choosing to create a higher way, not only for yourself, but for them, shifting the timeline. You are a multi-dimensional being. You are here, there, and everywhere at the same time. You've been here, but you're also in other aspects of you are in other places. So when we are present, we are able to bring it all into the now. And from here now, you can send out intentionally that lotus love to all your ancestors, celebrating them. And then when you feel it and are open to it, feel their love, feel their celebration for you. How do you see that? How do you hear that? How do you sense that? Just be with that for a moment. thank you, ancestors. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to your source essence. Thank you to your body. Thank you to your mind. Thank you for your ability to use your imagination, your visualization. These are your superpowers. We are so grateful for your intuition, for your gifts, for your talents, for your willingness to help humanity evolve through your compassion for yourself and for others. We are so grateful. And so it is. Go ahead and open your eyes, getting back into your body. Yes. All right.
That was amazing, Emmanuel. God.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, thank you. Let us know how you feel. We love to hear from you. Please, let us know in the comments. If there's anything, any visuals, any thing you felt, anything you heard, um, this is a family. We just want to hear from you, and we love you so much.
Is it okay if I share a little about what
Yeah.
came through for me? That yeah, what I mean, it was just profound. So first of all, for me, being able to receive was really important and not always being the one, holding the space is really powerful for me personally. And I think that's true for probably 99.999% of people tuning in here, right? You are like this too. We are givers. And so,
Mhm.
just the act of yeah, letting someone else hold the space was wow for me. But then in addition, a couple things I noticed. I'd be curious if anybody else was feeling this. I was recognizing in my body, like for me, it was in my hips, kind of in my cellular DNA, even my structure of my body. Um, that two things. I recognize that when I'm thinking of my ancestral line, which I would say is relatively healthy as human experience goes. Um, but when I think even of my ancestry and I think of the suffering or I think of the hardship or I think of anything sort of difficult about it, I recognized in the moment of you doing that I still was carrying a vibration of their suffering in my being, right? And as you were doing that, I realized, oh, wow, I don't need to do that. And actually, it helps them for me to let it go. Okay, so there's that. So that just sort of unraveled from the inside out. It was amazing. And then part two, you didn't explicitly mention this, but for me, this was very alive. And I'm guessing again, 99.99999% of us can probably identify with this too. That I was thinking about and seeing in my mind current situations in my family that are challenging or difficult, or I can see the family patterns that aren't as healthy playing out in XYZ way. And I recognize similarly, oh, wow, uh, I energetically have been identifying with that and sort of taking it on, even on a cellular level. And as you were holding that space, it was like the light of the lotus was just helping me to pull out the roots, in my own energy field of those situations, which I'm not directly involved in, but I guess probably even if I were, it still would be possible, of course. And none of this has been conscious. I haven't been sitting here going, "Oh, I need to hang on to X, Y." Not at all, not at all, not at all. But I recognized how powerfully life-changing it is for me to disconnect on the energy level from the past suffering and even the current family suffering, or
Mhm.
things that to me feel difficult, even for people, not necessarily myself, but yeah, people in my family or whatever it is. um oh, like I feel freer, I feel lighter.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
You reminded me of something. I think so many, because I've contemplated this for a long time, especially when there's a lot of hardship in family dynamics. Maybe I'm not involved, but I'm like observing of why I feel, or let's say what I used to feel like I had to step in and kind of mediate and make sure,
Yes.
everybody is pleased, right? And honored and stuff. And that was kind of my role. My grandma was like that. And so she kind of, I felt like, oh, I inherited that. And because nobody else was doing it. Um, and so one thing I realized was, and this is just through meditation and contemplation. And if this lands for you, anyone watching, please feel free. Hopefully, it'll help you. But I realized that because, as a child, as dysfunctional as the parent or the authority figure is, and I know so many of you had parents who were narcissistic and, abusive and all that. I'm so grateful I had a mom who was not that, but I had other adults who were not easy. And I think there's like this, because they were there at such a pivotal time in your life where you were developing. This is for me personally. I felt like on some level, for me to stay connected to them, I had to use things like try to mediate, try to people please, guilt, because if I don't step in, I'll feel guilty. So, but all that was doing was it was perpetuating the dysfunction, even though I wasn't directly involved. So once I realized that, and then obviously, give it to the light and allow, to be a process of, that initial desire to want to step in and lead and do all of that, but just kind of taking a step back and recognizing that I don't need to control it. It's like, let it all play out as it needs to. And let me do my own inner work and heal. That was the biggest release and freedom that I had experienced around family dynamics. It was that guilt of how involved should I be,
Yeah. And my favorite part of what you said, I just want to name it again because I feel like it's kind of like the key point for me. Like, whoa, was when you said, um, in a sense, I can't remember the exact wording, but basically you said something like, this is the moment where we start the new legacy. Like
Yes.
that's literally what we're doing. And I just want to say astrologically, how spot on this is. I don't know if you realize. So we're recording this on July 15th, 2026, but anytime you're listening to this, the relevance of or I should say the energetic of the astrological moment we're in right now, I always feel it as an imprint for like the medicine of the vibration of the video or whatever we're doing. So in this case, this video. So what I'm about to say is relevant for you, even if you're watching this 5 years from now or something. Um, Yesterday was a new moon in Cancer. And we currently have Mercury going retrograde in Cancer, and Mercury was conjunct the new moon. So it's like we had this lineup yesterday of Earth, Moon, Mercury, Sun, and behind, lined up right behind the Moon, Mercury, and the Sun is the sign of Cancer, and not far off from the star Sirius, which for me is very, very connected to DNA, highest, like Syrian beings. When I channel them, basically always are holding in some level us to be coming into our highest expression of our light code, or you could say DNA, yeah, configuration. So this is exactly perfect. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, a new moon in Cancer, conjunct Mercury retrograde in Cancer. It's like the perfect energetic moment, medicinal moment for us to be we are starting the new legacy for
Yes.
ourselves individually, our entire family, like literal family line, but then this whole family of Earth and all of existence, I would say, all of time, all of space, source. It's like,
Hmm.
and if we're not going to be the ones to start the new legacy, then who is? What
Yeah.
else is there?
Yeah.
Um,
And
Ugh.
a great question, for anyone watching, if it helps anchor it more deeply, is to ask yourself, who are you outside of who you thought your ancestors were, or, let's say your parents thought you were? Who are you outside of all of that?
Mm.
Moving forward, who are you? What is the vibration? What is the energy signature outside of all of that that is you? You now expand. You become almost like this panoramic version of you instead of like a, small little part of you that thinks that it's this human being.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would add one more thing, which is I often get this question, which I got yesterday again, and I get this question a lot because I have the same question, right? Like, how does all this love and light stuff help the practical suffering of the world? And I just did a YouTube live this morning where I talk about that. But one of the other things I can add here is, again, I could feel it in my body, the the ways in which I was sort of clenching, I guess you could say, energetically, totally unconsciously, because I was assuming, I had this assumption in my body before the last hour that it was kind of inevitable and even needed, like even necessary for me to identify in some way with those old ancestral patterns. Even though I've done how much ancestral healing work, I mean, really,
Yeah.
and held spaces for that for other people, on and on and on. But one thing I'm just imagining, like if you're around me, let's say I'm in the grocery store and you don't even know me and I'm just walking around, or we're at yoga class or whatever. I don't know, but given how sensitive we all, most of us are, I bet you would feel really differently standing next to me in the line at the grocery store if I have cleared that and I am now this emanation of the new legacy, right?
Yes.
Like, wouldn't that feel
Yes.
really different?
Oh, yeah. And
Yeah.
now even practice, for anyone watching, like if you are at the grocery or whatever, be in that energy and be the sun for others. Like just walking through the aisles as if you are that beginning legacy, that sunshine energy.
Oh, yeah. So I would love to hear in the comments that what does that new legacy energy feel like? I mean, I just feel it
Mm.
myself, like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Whoa.
energies really feel so potent the past few days, but today I'm just feeling this so deeply.
Mm,
Yes.
yeah.
And I know we have some amazing things coming up if you would love to share.
Yeah, I would love to share. I'm so excited about this. So, yeah, I've just barely mentioned this in my community, but so some of you have heard me talk about it a tiny bit. But we can talk about it more here. So, Emmanuel and I are going to be doing two things together and starting in September, and both are amazing. And they really, I would say, go together. So you would be welcome to join one or both. Yeah, I would highly recommend, especially if I'm gonna tell you what they are, but there's one called Angels Alive, and then there's one called the New Earth Soul Business Journey. If you're gonna join the Soul Business Journey, I highly recommend also joining the Angels Alive. Um, okay, so what are they? So the Angels Alive is a 7-week journey which my guides asked me to hold, and they were very specific that it needed to be with Emmanuel. Like I could have done it on my own, but they're like, no, 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 this needs to be with Emmanuel specifically. So what they have guided for me is that I'd be curious how you feel it. They basically said this is a life-changing 7-week journey where we want to hold space along with Emmanuel and Emmanuel's amazing team, which I can feel really like, wow, powerfully strong present here. It's like we are in this time of great remembering. The way I see it is that we are slowly learning to come back into our natural relationship with every benevolent realm of existence. And so that includes angels, that includes fairies, gnomes, inner earth beings, all of the things, star beings, all of it, right? So this 7-week journey is going to be like a concentrated immersion, I would call it, back into, yeah, what is it? What is our natural, each of us individually, what is our natural way of being in a constant communication, relationship, community, family with the angel and archangel realms? And yeah, and so each week we have a different theme, and it's gonna be amazing. It
Mhm.
includes three of when you sign up, you automatically get three of Emmanuel's beautiful angelic harmonics songs. And I think, do you want to say something about? I think you have a surprise about that, right? Do you
Yes.
want to say
So,
that?
yeah, I have six new ones that no one has
What?
ever heard, and that
Six?
will be, yes, and that will
I
be
didn't even
for,
know that.
and that will be available as soon as everyone who joins, they will be part of that, and just allowing the frequencies, the tones. I do a lot of sound healing music, but I also do a lot of um, meditation and prayer and just sitting in that frequency of the angelic realm and allowing that to guide the work, to guide the music, the sounds. So, a lot of the things that you hear, especially in these videos too, we have some music that we put in. Usually, those are also angelic in nature at their core. And then, one thing that I wanted to share is that I'm excited about this course specifically is receiving. And I know you said it earlier. So many of us, if you're watching this right now, you have been an angel to so many people. You
Yeah.
are the rock. You are somebody who is just, hey, if somebody needs something, you're there. Your angels, the archangels as well, they're here to support you. They're here to do whatever it is that you feel your heart would like to experience more of and open doors. And if it's abundance, if it's health, if it's relationships, if it's just feeling more alive and connected. As you know, we've talked about this for a while, but I was feeling a little bit in hibernation mode for a few years, and I really needed to rely heavily on my angels. And I remember around December, I just spoke to Archangel Michael, through meditation. And it's like, listen, this thing where because I'm usually very like energetic and focused, and I like to move, like I'm a moving energy, double Sagittarius rising. So I wasn't feeling that. I was feeling very like still, which is good. I love those still moments, but it was going on for a really long time and I was feeling like a little stagnant. And so when I did that, very interesting the timing, because I know that Sandy had reached out to you
Mhm.
prior, and then the timing just happened that at the beginning of the year we connected. And I truly believe that was one of the requests that I made unknowingly, to have someone who is so full of light and love, who sees me and allows me to step back into that version of myself. So that was one thing. And there's been so many things, so many synchronicities outside of that, for all areas of life. And I truly, I notice the difference when I'm not in communion with my angels. I literally feel the difference. So if it's not angels for you, but if it's like, let's say your guides or whatnot, we're gonna tap into this space so that you can connect to all of that. I think that's the intention. And then the other thing that you sort of invited me to do with you and Mark
Wait,
Harris.
sorry.
Oh,
Sorry,
go ahead.
can I just add in
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
angels one? There's two other gifts. So
Yes, yes.
Emmanuel made these six songs. I didn't realize. I thought it was you were going to make two songs special for the angels, but you made six. Wow. I
Yes.
cannot wait to hear them myself because I adore your songs. Um, but the other two things that are going to be gifts, already ready is a downloadable version of Emmanuel's Easy Breezy Prosperity book. Uh, and wait, no, sorry, that one goes with the New Earth. You're going to give the, sorry,
Easy breezy miracle. Yeah.
for both of the courses, there's Emmanuel is giving very generously giving a downloadable version of one of his books. And so sorry, for the angel one, it's the miracle, yeah, Easy Breezy Miracles book. And then also for the angels alive, we're gonna have a I'm gonna be channeling a kind of bonus angel sleep video, and then Emmanuel is gonna add in music to my channeled time for the angels to support our sleep, because I know I need that
Yes.
myself. Yeah.
Yes.
And that part will be ready probably in the next few weeks, but it'll be ready, long before September. But you immediately get Emmanuel's songs and the book and yeah, all of that.
Awesome.
Now transition to the soul business journey.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
The
other
soul
side.
business. So, it's so interesting. I've been asked to be part of something like that many times, and it just never felt like the right time. I just felt like, you know, um, it just didn't feel right. But when you were sort of speaking about it and we kind of like organically said, oh, this would be interesting to do together, it just felt really good. And, one thing that I like to bring to everything that I do is humanity and like a deep, like heart energy. And so a lot of people see business as very mental and not very heart. And I've taken other people's things, courses and stuff, and I just never really felt that heart mind connection. I always felt like it was either one or the other. So my deepest intention and desire for the part that I'm bringing, is really show you how to anchor a deep love, compassion, heart energy frequency around what it is that you want to create, whether you already have a business or if you want to create a business, um, and show you the difference that that's going to bring, the difference it's going to make in growing your business, because that it's just worked tremendously for so many of my clients and myself included. So I'll be sharing all of those secrets with you.
Yeah, exactly. And I can say so that this New Earth soul business journey is something that my guides also is coming directly from them. And they actually have told me for a year and a half, maybe it's been even 2 years since my guide said September 2026. There's going to be a group of people who are ready. Sorry. I'm very active today. Um, there's going to be a group of people who are ready precisely at September 2026 to manifest, put into action their soul calling, right? But they're going to need help on a very practical level. So I've had people in my community almost like ready-ish for the last year and a half, but it never was. My guys was like, nope, hang on, wait, no, let's hold off, wait until exactly September 2026. So I originally I was going to do it possibly by myself. Then I started working with Mark Harris, who is the brother of Lee Harris, and he is my business mentor, and he's amazing, and of course supports the Lee Harris enterprise as well. So he agreed to do it with me because I was just so impressed that the way he approaches business is similar exactly to what you're talking about. Very grounded, very practical, very real, yet none of the gross salesy out of hmm, unethical unethical ways that is rampant everywhere, right? And
Mhm.
we're just I feel like the three of us are just allergic to it. It's like it's just a big no.
Yeah.
Can't go there. Yeah, so Mark and I then were going to do it. And then I was talking to you, just sharing with you about it, and the more I got to know you, I was like, wait a second. Yeah, you have done all of these business practices with this ethical way of doing it, this grounded, heart-centered way of doing it. And not only have you done it, but you're way too humble, and I had to learn it on my own, that you have succeeded to the nth degree with it. I mean, what? You know, uh, if, yeah. So you have expertise in areas that I don't have, and that Mark doesn't have because you have certain skills that neither of us has. So you're going to come in as the third person, and yeah, it's going to be. I'm just so super excited actually
Oh,
about just the three of us together. Yeah, because I feel like
Yes.
we're gonna, and Mark was saying a similar thing, and the three of us are gonna make a video where we talk more about this, but I feel like we each have, or I should say he was saying he feels like the three of us have a similar soothing, sort of calming presence. And yet we also bring in like these three pillars of a different kind of energy that they're very, very complementary. We're all three really good at being grounded and practical and coming from the heart, all of that. But then we each have different skills. Like he was, working in the corporate marketing world, which I definitely
Hmm.
have never done. And yeah, so
Yeah.
it's going to be amazing. It's going
So
to
good.
be, yeah, it's going to be a combination of sort of channeled, guided, dropping in, finding your true soul purpose, but then most of it is going to
Hmm.
be very, very,
Practical.
very practical, very
Hmm.
grounded, very down to earth. Um, yeah, and if you have done the Lee Harris, the course that Lee and Mark just recently did, which I took, this will be the perfect supplement to that, I would say. It's going to be very, very, very different, much more practical, like tools, like actual how to build a website, how to da da da, how to
Hmm.
succeed on YouTube, how to da da da, all those things.
Yes.
And yeah, so the Lee and Mark version was beautiful and wonderful as well, but this is yeah, very down to earth in practical ways. So, and then the Angel course and the New Earth together, if you do both, I mean, whoa. I think
Hmm.
is going to
Hmm.
turbocharge uh yeah, the Angel one will turbocharge the soul business one because we will really support those of you in the soul business to anchor in with your angel team and your general spirit team to support your entire business journey because that's how I operate,
Yeah.
that's how you operate, right? In
Hmm.
our own work, my guides literally tell me everything what I'm supposed to do,
Yeah.
and the whole thing is held by the spirit world. So
Yeah. And look how
yeah.
far they brought you. I mean, remember, like in just in the past few years, like, wow, you know?
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I mean, yeah, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I'm super
Yay.
excited about both. So grateful for
Me
you,
too.
Emmanuel.
This is going to be a really exciting time, and it's going to be a good chunk of time too, right? From September through November for
Mhm.
both. So you're going to get a lot of attention, love, focus, energy, and obviously all the tools that you need to get all those things up and running.
Yeah, exactly.
Yay.
Oh,
So I think that feels good. We landed the plane.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so again, I just want to remind you that question because I love to close with question. Who are you outside of anything that anyone has ever said about you? Who are you outside of all of it? Whether it's your family, your ancestors, teachers, who are you? What is that frequency? What is that energy signature outside of all of that? And when you get your feeling, your insight, the wisdom around that, express deep gratitude. Just feel gratitude for what you receive, and it will help enhance and magnify and really grow that part of you so that it becomes more of the forefront aspect of you rather than the part that has been sitting in the back holding space.
Yes. And I would leave off with the sentence, let's go out and be the new legacy.
Yes. And
Mhm.
so it is.
And so it is.
All right.
Thank
We love you all. Sending you so much gratitude. Until next month, have a beautiful rest of the day.